morning, everybody. Do we think everybody's here? We'll start. Okay. First off, I apologize in advance if I make any major mistakes. This is the first time I'm the girl with the gavel. So hopefully we'll get through this. If I don't say something right, feel free to say, sorry, don't say that, whatever. So I guess the first thing is to call this meeting to order, the Pasco County Tourist Development Council, February 17th at 10 a.m. And if we could have the invitation.
O merciful Creator, your hand is open wide to satisfy the needs of every living creature. Make us thankful for your loving providence and grant that we, remembering the account that we must one day give, may be faithful stewards of your good gifts. Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if we can have roll call, please.
The Honorable Chopper Davis. The Honorable Ken Burgess.
Here.
Mr. Mike Kidd.
Here.
Mr. Robert Reilly.
Here.
Miss Wendy Longman. Here. Mr. Mike Bishop.
Here.
Miss Bobby D. Felipez. Mr. Greg Lenners. Okay. And Chairman Mike Moore. Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is, do we have public comment? Okay, we'll move on to the approval of the January 20th PDC minutes.
Move for approval.
We have a motion?
Yes. Move for approval.
Move for approval?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's approved. And presentations?
So we're gonna have Joseph Sanderman and Glencora from Downtown San German presenting the fiscal year 2021 Water 1 visitor profile and economic impact.
Trial
report.
version.
Good morning, Joseph. Can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes. Thank you.
All right.
Trial version.
Can we share the screen?
Please.
Are we doing it first?
Yes, he needs to share his.
Trial version.
I don't know what he has on his, but we can
Yeah, it's not allowing me to share. Oh, here we go. All right, can everybody see?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
All right, we will proceed. Again, my name is Joseph St. Germain, from president of Downtown St. Germain Research. I'll be presenting the first portion, then I'll hand it over to Glencora Haskins from our office. Again, just as we look at these, as a reminder, these are surveys collected from October 1st to December 31st, 2020. Overall, this is based upon over 750 interviews. So you feel good about the reliability. As we walk through the presentation, we'll walk through the visitor journey from what they did before, what the profile is, their experience while in the market, and then what they thought of the area, and then finally the economic impact. But we're going to begin at the end because everyone tends to like to pay attention to some of the metrics for the quarter. It's an interesting quarter because we had a lot of the metrics going down in terms of occupancy, ADR, and RevPAR. Frankly, what we're seeing across the state with all of our work, as you can imagine, most every county is down in October through December, largely due to the COVID pandemic. One of the interesting thing is your number of visitors were actually up. You basically had a decrease of people staying in paid accommodations, but you had more people coming for the day, and you had more people visiting friends and relatives. There were also people who were staying, in the accommodations were staying shorter amount of times and have larger travel party sizes. We believe, we're kind of trying to interpret some of this data. You're missing a lot of the long-term winter visitors that you normally get in other years because they may be staying home this year. We're seeing this is particularly true for the Canadian snowbird, that kind of thing. So a lot of folks who may have came in previous years may not be doing so this year. So, but ultimately, you have visitation up, economic impact down around 8%. As we move to their planning experience, there was a very short planning cycle. About 3 and 5 planned their trip within a month of traveling. The shorter planning cycle is something we've seen throughout all of COVID. Some people don't want to do long-term planning because the rules might change in a few months, and some of it we have more spontaneous trips. So it's a lot of short-term planning cycle than we'd seen in previous years. In planning their trip, they start with their friends and their relatives, and you'll kind of see friends and relatives is a theme throughout all of this. One of the reasons people come, but they also spend a lot of time on the internet and looking at their social media. While they're visiting, the number one reason is to see friends and relatives, but they're also doing a lot of your outdoor activities and going on vacation. And as we've seen throughout all of COVID, the vast majority of your visitors are driving to the area. It's just something that's been up ever since really April of 2020 in terms of the percentage who drive. Those who do fly, as you can imagine, are flying into the Tampa International Airport. About 1 in 6 noticed advertising for the county before their trip. About half of those saw it on social media, and about a third saw it online. So social media and your digital are really at the forefront of what your visitors are noticing. And at this point, I'll pass it over to Glencora to walk through the traveler program.
Trial version.
You good, Glencora?
Does she need to present something?
Trial version.
She can speak.
All right, I'll kind of pick up from here because it looks
Trial
like
version.
we have some. Can you folks hear Glencora? Sorry.
We can hear you and your trial version.
Trial version.
The trial version's coming from Glencora. Yeah, I'm not sure how she's joined in.
All right. Well, I guess I'll pick
Trial
up.
version.
I'll pick up from here for the sake of time, and we'll kind of run through the rest and stop if you have any questions. The vast majority of your visitors came from Florida. The percentage who were from international is much smaller than previous quarters, but you do have significant percentages coming from the Southeast, the Midwest, and the Northeast. When you break it down by states, about 2/3 of your visitors came from these 5 states. So Florida is obviously the big one, but you also have significant percentages coming from Michigan, Georgia, New York, and Ohio. In terms of markets, the Tampa Bay area is number 1. As you can imagine, most of those are day trippers. When we get to day trippers in a little bit, a lot of them are coming from the Tampa area, but you do have significant percentages coming from New York City and some of the other markets in Florida. Your travel party size was a little bit under 3 people, and about 1 in 4 traveled with children in their travel party. Your typical visitor this year was about 46, made around $84,000 a year, and it was split largely between females and males. In terms of visitation, you did have 1 in 4 visiting Pasco County for the first time. And that would be a significant percentage in any quarter. It's a more impressive percentage when this is happening during COVID. Basically during the pandemic, for the most part, people have been less likely to try new places. They prefer the safety and comfort of places they've been before. So getting about 1 in 4 of your visitors to be new visitors is great news. But you still have a loyal base with 1 in 3 traveling more than or visiting more than 10 times. In terms of the length of stay, it is down from previous quarters. Again, you just have a lot less long-term visitors in October through December. And if they're staying in a hotel. A significant percentage are staying with friends and relatives, but almost half of your visitors are day trippers. And again, a significant percentage of those are coming from the Tampa area. In terms of what they spend, we looked at the large numbers, but your typical travel party is spending about $280 per day, which ends up being a little bit over $1,100 for their trip. When in the market, they do use apps to get around and social media. So those are the places if you're looking to do any in-market advertising beyond billboards and that kind of thing, this is what they're using when they're here. And in terms of what they're doing, these line up very closely with what you saw for the main reasons for visiting. I mean, first you have casual, dining being very high, so you have most of those people dining, but you have a significantly high percentage of people who are visiting friends and family, which is the number 1 reason to visit. And you have around 1 in 3 going to nature and parks and doing water sports with, if you recall, outdoor activities was the number 2 reason for visiting. Here's where they were visiting in this quarter. The one thing that stands out for me is you don't have a lot of these percentage being very high. So we're not seeing, when they come here, we're not seeing a lot of mobility within the county. So if they're coming to Newport Richey, they're more likely to stay around that area. If they're in Wesley Chapel, they're more likely to stay around that area, Zephyr Hills, etc. So there's not a lot of bouncing around. Some do, but not a lot do. And then finally, kind of like the report card, how did we do? On a scale of 1 to 10, they gave it a rating of 8.7. 95% will return, which is a great percentage, given that you have a significant percentage visiting for the first time. Anytime we see the percentage of visiting for the first time being high, the intent tends to go down, because sometimes people visit a place and it just isn't for them. So seeing this at 95% is great news, because that's ultimately, when you have these people not only visiting, they plan on coming back. And then finally, we asked them, hey, what do you think of the county? And Pasco County is a wonderful area to sit back and relax. The weather is superb. It's exactly what we needed. Overall, that's a high-level run-through of the October through December report. I'm happy to answer any questions people may have.
I just have one question. If you go back to that screen where they kind of stayed in localities and where they that one right there.
Yep.
One right there. Have you ever put any relationship to the population to that area? Is there any match to that population of people who actually live there?
We would have to look. My guess, given the percent who are staying with friends and relatives, that would be correlated, but we haven't ran that analysis, but that's something that we could do.
Yeah, I just noticed that Wesley Chapel was always number 3, but because we're not doing as much tourism, I can see where Wesley Chapel would drop down in that. And then you've got more retirees in the Spring Hill area. So it actually does kind of make sense.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is when you have less business travel, anything on that 75 corridors will tend to take a hit. So I think that's part of it as well. That's a very good point.
Excellent.
Question. So Joseph, I noticed that in a lot of these reports, we tend to trend really positive with people wanting to come back. And we also have that correlation of a lot of our visitors coming for friends and family. So do you get more granular on that data and splitting out those friends and family? Because I feel like if their family's here, they are going to come back. like getting a little more specific onto the segment that is really visiting for tourist attractions, the outdoor, those types of things.
That's a good point. That's something that we'll run right after this. As you can imagine, haven't ran that yet, but you are exactly right. If you're coming to visit friends and family, you are definitely more likely to return because your friends and family are there. So let us run that, and then we'll follow up with the team because I think that's a very good point.
Yeah, I think that's just good to know.
Yeah.
My mom's here. I'm going to be coming back until mom's here. So getting more specific information on those that are making the decision after Googling or social media to come here and visit and see the impact of, the impact that Pasco County has on that return. So thank you.
Yeah, definitely. And that's something we'll include moving forward. So we'll give you the overall number, but then we'll also do like the percentage of leisure visitors and see how that goes.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Do we have any other questions? All right, thank you very, very much, Mr. St. Germain.
Thank you.
Your detailed information, and it's always spot on, and I know I enjoy looking at all the little stats because I'm a stats nerd, so thank you very much. Did you, was there anything more that you wanted to know in your presentation?
That's all.
That's all? Okay. So next we will be going to Ms. Colby for funding requests.
Hello, Colby Gason, Communications Manager for Florida Sports Coast. I am actually going to be co-presenting with Mike Bishop and Anthony Stinsman, who's joining us virtually. We have a funding request for you all. So over the past few months, we'll just wait for the presentation to get pulled up here. Yep, yes, please. Can you understand me all right with the mask on? Okay.
You couldn't understand me with the mask on.
Please strike that from the record.
Straight person like that.
It should be the one I emailed, the one with the video in it. That one, perfect. All right, so this is gonna be an ask for a co-op video that Mike and I are going to divulge a little more into. This video is really just the start of us really getting into an exciting partnership with Pasco EDC. So over the past few months, we've really been exploring ways that we can combine our efforts with Pasco EDC since we are both leading economic drivers for the county. Through our conversations, we've really realized there's several opportunities to work together to continue to recruit both business and tourists to the destination. One in particular is a joint video that we can use to promote both the county and destination. And I'm gonna be using those words as they apply to both of us in respect. They promote the county, whereas we really focus on the county as a destination. This co-opt video will highlight the work-life balance both business professionals and visitors can have here on Florida Sports Coast, primarily focusing on the leisure and meeting segment of travel and tourism. I'm gonna hand it off to Mike now.
Awesome. You can hang on to that.
Oh,
That's
great.
okay. Just keep it there. So when I joined the TDC, I was previous career, and then of course moved over to the EDC. And even at that point, Colby and I have been talking many times on how we can collaborate further. Now that we have this unique situation with everything going on and having to adapt and overcome to these challenges as it comes to business recruitment and marketing from the EDC standpoint, we actively went out there and searched out a grant for a marketing video. So we received a grant from Duke Energy that was really targeted towards how to overcome these current challenges and showing off the many different assets in Pasco County as it related to business recruitment. So as we dug a little further into it, we realized we really had to change our mindset a little bit. We pushed the economic development sales points, tax environment, positive pro-business commission, but we really have to capture quality of life now. That's something that businesses are really looking into and putting at a high value when they're making decisions to move their business. So when that topic came to mind, it was immediately, this makes so much sense to work together on this video and come up with something, and we'll show an example as inspiration that can be used for the EDC to go out and recruit business, and also for Florida Sports Coast to show that there is meeting business here and what we call bleisure that can be attained through that. So I'll hand it back to you, Colby.
Actually, I'll jump in at this point. Hello, everybody. Good morning. So, no secret. Obviously, our focus and our niche has relied on sports tourism quite a bit. And so we really identified in our conversations with the EDC and internally that there is definitely a need for us to showcase the business and leisure aspects of our destination in order to be able to be more effective at communicating this and our value proposition to meeting and event planners. So currently our principal marketing tool that we've used when attending trade shows and so forth has been in the form of a PDF document that highlights all of the areas within our destination and all of the meeting spaces that are available for people to book. We felt that this would be a much more effective means of providing a visual and much more engaging as a conversation starter and a differentiator from other DMOs out there. So the inspiration for this stemmed from our ongoing conversations, as Mike mentioned. And he was kind of the brainchild in finding some of the examples that we were looking at to base this off of. So I'll hand it back over to him to talk about the inspiration a little bit more.
Sure. So something early on while I was at the EDC was looking through different marketing videos and other content that was out there and see if there's things that we can pull from to make this video or future marketing efforts. So this video, which we'll try and bring up 30 seconds or so of, is from the Virginia Beach Economic Development video. And one thing I want to highlight is it does a very good job of combining the tourism assets with the economic development pieces, which is what we're looking to do. So when you watch it, it's a little more tongue-in-cheek than what we're trying to go for. We want to keep it light. I don't think as light as this, but if we can pull up 30 seconds of that, that'd be great.
It should be sharing the audio to the WebEx, but...
Okay. Well, I can give commentary if we don't have the audio. So there's higher talent talking about, we're going to try again?
Yeah, we can try it.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. If not, then I'll describe it.
I can do a wonderful narration.
I've watched the video a few times. It's entertaining.
It's okay.
Right. Hey, mine as well from my past experience. Okay. If not, it's okay. If we at least had the visual.
One more and it's not.
Okay.
If we could just pull the video back up so you can kind of give a description of it, that would be wonderful.
As he's pulling it back up, so I have it pretty much memorized. So it's higher talent starting out on the beach, on Virginia Beach. He is giving the background of why aren't you at Virginia Beach, all these things that we have to offer. And the shots start moving in progression towards, he walks down to the beach. There's a couple sand castles that have some major corporate headquarter logos on them. So there he is at the beach, but showing the big business that is there at Virginia Beach. He then moves along to different places like the port or a manufacturing facility. And as he's moving through these different pieces, he's talking about the pro-tax environment, pro-business environment, all your standard economic development. You can kind of see as we're going through here. Your standard economic development bullet points. So we'll kind of get a little bit more into the concept and detail as we go along the presentation, but so you can see that what I was just describing there. And he's just going through a high level of that. So
and as he's going through this video, he also goes to key tourist destinations as well. He goes to the aquarium,
Right.
He goes to a nightlife, restaurant type area. So again, it's visually and audibly blending those two messages together.
Right, and the key inspiration really to take from this right now is this is talent going through these pieces, describing the different assets on economic development and tourism. So we can stop it there and we'll just move through the presentation. Thank you, guys.
So the concept for the video, as we briefly touched on, we are going to feature 9 tourism and economic locations throughout the destination that represent leisure activities, meeting spaces, as well as key businesses. The video will balance both themes of business and tourism while showcasing the quality of life both visitors and businesses can have here on Florida Sports Coast. Jumping right into the locations of those, we have Skydive City, Advent Health Center Ice, Saddlebrook, Florida Avenue Brewing, the Sports Campus, True Simulation, Metler Toledo Touchpoint, Starkey Trail, the center on Orange Lake / the Hacienda, and the Windsong Charters. So the point of all of these businesses is from Skydive City, we want to show them jumping into the destination, into the county, starting on that, no pun intended, high note, if you will, really capturing the adventure aspect of the destination. So as they jump into the destination, we head over to Advent Health Center Ice, which is not only a big meeting space, it also does function as great events. We are actually going to have an event there with the EDC in May. We'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. But it's also a key economic driver for the sports tourism that we bring in through there. From there, we can head to Saddlebrook, where it's a great resort to have the combination of leisure and meetings. We'll also incorporate the golf aspect as well, which is really key for Anthony as he is pitching to these meeting planners to attract them here. Then heading to Florida Avenue Brewing, which is also a unique meeting space, but for economics, they are a huge manufacturer for the destination, having just opened their business here. From there, we'll go to the Sports Campus, showing the economic impact that tourism has put back into the county, as well as it being, again, another very unique meeting space. And then going to the center of the county, where we're going to feature those 3 main core businesses that really represent the business recruitment that the EDC has brought here to Pasco County. From there, we'll go to Starkey Trail to really blend that leisure aspect. And again, focusing on the high nature parks as we saw in Joseph's presentation, blending that message in there. And then heading to downtown Newport Richey, one of our main municipalities, again, showing kind of that blend work-life style. If the Hacienda is open, we would love to feature that as well, since it is our newest, most unique hotel that we have here on the destination, before heading off into the sunset on a beautiful pontoon boat, concluding this recruitment venture meeting and having a wonderful time here in Pasco County and Florida Sports Coast. So now,
Is that boat going out into the Gulf?
yes.
I mean, the Gulf wasn't mentioned in any of this, that's why I'm asking. Kind of 20 miles of the coast is kind of important to emphasize, that's why I asked.
Absolutely, and that's what we plan to do.
Going out of Windsong and never even reached the Gulf, that's why I'm asking.
And that's definitely something we can take into account in further planning and execution of the video, and we can work with Wendy on that as well. So
We also have the river, that draws a lot of tourism.
Well, we did have a plan for that. So the thought was, as we're coming into Skydive City, we're giving an aerial. So it's good for us at the EDC to highlight our Ready Sites program, which shows the different sites that are available. So it's kind of a cool twist there. But as we were ending, we wanted to end that as a drone zone out to really get a highlight of the coast and really show that piece of it.
I'm just saying you didn't mention that. That word was not used, that's why I asked.
Sure.
apologies on that.
It's kind of important.
I got you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is Florida Sports Coast.
Yes, and that is why we are ending on the water.
Big emphasis of, for a week or 10 days of scalloping, but you never mentioned the golf, that sort of thing. Okay.
Absolutely. And just to take note, this is one of several other videos that both the EDC has and we have. So, we have made that investment in the scallop season. We have several videos that do mention the coastline. So this is just specifically how to capture both of what we're trying to do from an economic impact. And we will absolutely include the water, include the coastline into that as well. Mike's going to talk a little bit more about the specific concept.
Yeah, sure. So we hit on a little bit as far as talent going through the county. So to just carry on what Colby was mentioning. So the concept of an executive going through the day and also conducting their business through these different venues and highlighting those pieces. We're going to have a long form. It'll be about 2 minutes, we think, with short clips that we can feature, which we'll go into. The very exciting part of this is the studio that we're working with, Diamond View in Tampa. They're very, very much a world-class studio. We're fortunate to work with them on the EDC Story of Strength video that we produced last year in September. And they really wanted to find ways to work together with us and Florida Sports Coast. So they will be taking on the production of it and very, very excited about that piece. So as long as there's funding, we plan on starting in March. And we'll be releasing that in May, which we'll hit on in a little bit. So,
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Was there a reason that you went with Diamond View versus say like JL Video, which is local?
Sure. Yeah. Well, we utilize JL Video, and so does Florida Sports Coast. We wanted something that was Diamond View has a very large reputation on producing high scale videos. They were just recently featured on Good Morning America on. Right. We wanted. They do fantastic videos.
We've won several awards with JL Video.
Yes, of course. So Diamond View is typically a very, very expensive studio to work with. However, some of the owners actually live here in Pasco County and really feel strongly about Pasco County, which is why we've gotten favor in working with them and trying to collaborate on it. But they have a very great portfolio that's nationally recognized, and we wanted to really produce this high scale.
Central over Main Street Landing.
It's just an initial concept. We can include both of them. Overall, we're going to focus on.
I mean, one's 30 units, the other's 90 units.
Absolutely. And this is high level concept. Absolutely, we can take all of your recommendations if we do get the board's approval for funding. I'm sorry?
You don't even know who he is.
No, I didn't hear you.
I know Charles.
Yeah, okay. Are you working with him?
Yeah, I've spoken with him in the past. I haven't spoken to him specifically about this video.
All right, I'll have him get over you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So I know you said that you're going to start with Skydive City and then go to Advent Health. Are you going to literally have him jump out of a plane and then land at Advent Health? Is that like part of the show? Like
that would be amazing if we could do that. And maybe if there's not the space to actually do that. I know Skydive City has been willing, when we've talked about other video concepts, to be willing to change their drop zone for us for this. If there's not a safe space at Advent Health, perhaps maybe it's at the sports campus where there's the field. But it would be really cool, I agree, to kind of tie literally directly, have them jump into like the next scene. So
yeah, and we have a big field too if you wanted to land there.
You know what, it may look like they jumped in, but it's really a drone.
Yeah, or you see him jump out and then he's already there, and then you have the camera set up so it looks like he landed there, but really not. But if you wanted to, you could probably land him in the field at Saddlebrook. We've got a big field where Schwarzkopf used to land his helicopter when we were doing sprints.
Well, there we go. If a helicopter can land there, I hope a person can too.
A drone might take a minute there to stand.
Yeah. Anyway, just a thought.
No, this is all fantastic feedback, and we love that you guys are providing this to us because it shows that hopefully you're interested in it. And
we're interested.
Okay, great.
How long is this? Are you going to make a lot of like multiple types? Do 20 minutes or 25 minutes and break it down into five minutes, or
couldn't have provided me a better segue into the next slide. So we will have a long form version because long form version does do very well, especially with social media marketing. We will cut it down into probably a 15, 30 seconds for display ads, video display ads, which that's usually the short form for videos. But before I toss it to Anthony, we are both going to talk about how we are jointly going to market this video. So it's one thing to make it, it's another thing to actually actively use it for the purposes of what we're both trying to achieve. So probably the biggest, foremost opportunity is this event that we mentioned in May. So again, based off of conversations, we were really inspired, Consuelo, Adam, and I, from when we went to visit Florida's event in November, where we won our Flaglers, of how well they represented leadership within the tourism industry by still having the banquet but being very safe. Through Adam's conversations with Bill, the idea was spawned to come up with a joint event. They were not sure what to do with their annual event, and we were kind of exploring what to do with our banquet. And unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to do last year. So what we came up with is a joint EDC tourism banquet that we are going to have at Advent Health Center ICE on May 6th, where our original banquet was going to be. There are some things that are still consistent from last year, but our goal at this banquet is to showcase this video. So really, it's one thing to come together, host an event together. It's another thing to launch a major marketing piece that we have jointly done together and show that to our business partners and our industry partners to say, hey, we are invested, we are committed to pushing Pasco County and Florida Sports Coast forward. So I'm going to let Anthony talk about the other marketing opportunities we hope to explore with this video.
Thank you, Colby. Yeah, so as she mentioned, the debut for this video is scheduled for the joint EDC tourism banquet that's scheduled for May. Obviously, we want to use this to our advantage and promote our destination more actively at trade shows and events. As I mentioned previously, currently, we're leaving behind a PDF on a thumb drive for people to view and sift through pages and so forth. So we think that this is going to be a lot more engaging as far as content goes. Obviously, email marketing is going to be a big part of this as well. We currently are contracted with a company called ePro Direct that I may have mentioned in prior meetings. That does a targeted email campaign blast for us on a monthly basis. And their target audience consists exclusively of meeting planners and highly active ones at that, we've targeted the states of Florida, Georgia, Illinois, North Carolina, New Jersey, New York, and Texas. In addition to that, we do an internal e-blast that's sent through our internal systems. Also through targeted lead bases that we've gathered at prior trade shows and through networking. And we just feel like this is a great opportunity, like Colby mentioned and Mike mentioned before, to broaden our collaboration with our EDC partners and move Pasco County forward.
So I'll speak a little bit to our marketing. We're very excited to joint tandem this with Florida Sports Coast in the sense that as they're targeting, like Anthony mentioned, the different meeting opportunities, we're also going to be going to publications for business recruitment, specifically targeting site consultants and business owners they're looking to recruit, which is a great overlap for meeting space as well. We plan to use it with all the standard digital ads, as well as social, those types of things. And once trade shows do get back up and running that we can attend, excuse me, we plan on using that at our trade shows as well to show that when businesses are considering looking at our county to move to, there's also the great tourism aspects to it. So.
So with all of that said, that leads to why we're presenting to you today. The DMO is asking to match Pasco EDC's contribution to the film at $20,000 from our special projects funding. So that'll give us an overall budget, joint budget for the film of $40,000, which we can absolutely execute a very beautiful video with Diamond View.
You mentioned a grant from Duke. Where is that in this?
That's part of their half.
Yeah, so I can speak to that. Our Duke grant is $15,000, and we are putting an additional $5,000 from our marketing budget towards this video.
Is there a way that we can get a Duke grant too?
It was specifically for economic development. It was an economic development grant through Duke Energy that was brought to us by one of our board members.
I love the idea. I think it's absolutely fantastic, bringing the leisure aspect together. Does anyone else have any questions?
Well, I'd just like to say that with our industrial corridor over in Zephyrhills by the airport, we have been talking about our ready sites there. And, you know, we had PowerPoints and things. And about a year ago, I guess, or maybe a little more longer than that, the PEDC actually did a drone video there. And it makes all the difference in the world. When the video was shown, it's like, wow, now we really see this. And so I think you're on the right track because it really brings a good attention to it.
Question.
Yes, sir.
And a comment. Can you just remind us the special project budget for the entire year of 2021 or for the fiscal year? What do we have in that? Do we know?
Get that for you from the budget.
I was just curious on that. And then the comment would be, I think with the Santander and Moffitt, even if we saw some of those, this is my personal, the Moffitt piece of just, even if it's just like the shovel, real quick, 1 second. I mean, Moffitt's a huge name. So, I mean, Pasco, we're blowing up and this is just the next step in the taking it to the next level. So I'm excited about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just curious about
It's
it.
exciting because we have so many great things happening.
Absolutely.
In Pasco.
Yeah.
The challenge is really going to be balancing.
Yeah.
all the different pieces.
Well,
Yeah.
you've got the film, it's just putting the piece together if you want for a particular project.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And at the time when we started coming up with all of these sites, they had not formally announced that. So
Right.
that's a great suggestion.
And the great marriage of this video is that a lot of the economic development points are not really visuals.
Right.
It's more stats.
Right.
So as we're going to the visual of the median space and the different assets, then that talent can then say, oh, you also know that,
Right.
this economic development stuff.
For
So
economic development, Moffitt's great. Like Chopper said, the Gulf's great for the
Right.
leisure side, right? So be great to balance the two, which is obviously the goal. So it's exciting.
The hacienda won't be ready till probably June, so there will be opportunities to take pictures, but not necessarily inside.
okay. Yeah, and we wanted to get some video of downtown, so
Yeah.
we'll probably catch the exterior.
Okay, is this the part where I ask for a motion?
You can do that. Well, you might want to see if anybody.
Well, you have 30 seconds.
Other questions? Well, no.
We move for a grant $20,000.
Nice. Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Have to give a girl a gavel.
Thank you so much.
When you dig that
Thank you
up,
all.
I'd still like that number when you dig that up. The number you asked for.
Okay, next would be Ms. Consuelo on further funding requests. And I think you're still looking for that budget number as well.
Yes, I think it's over 1.2 million. I think it's 1.2 million. However, it's important to mention that we don't spend the whole budget in a year. We carry forward that and we just leave it there for special projects that can be used just one time.
So Consuelo Sanchez, Sports Development and Tourism Manager. So I'm gonna start with my funding request for USA Hockey Adults Championships. I think last month I mentioned to all of you that I was trying to work directly with USA Hockey, the adults division, for the last 2 years. Finally, we got accepted. I started conversation a couple months ago. He was always a little bit reluctant to work with us because he has a really good history with the Tampa Bay Sports Commission. However, he understood that with the sports complex, we're gonna have a lot of events going on at both venues at the same time. And I mentioned basically that April is our busiest time. I offered some funding for him to work with us and handle accommodations. So I sent out the RFP, and thankfully all out of hotels in the Lutz, Lando Lakes, and Wesley Chapel area are gonna be working with us. So he's signing off the agreements, hopefully this week, and we're gonna be able to book the majority of the rooms in Pasco County. So we are projecting that for the 2 events, we're gonna have the men's adults championships, April 15 to the 18, and the women's championships too. That's gonna be April 22nd through the 25th. We're projecting over 1,000 room nights. Each event is gonna be a 4-day event. So we're projecting people coming to the area from all over the country. That's gonna be great. First time that we're gonna be hosting the women's championships. They were supposed to be here last year. Unfortunately, because of COVID-19, the event got canceled. The men's championships we have been hosting since 2017, since the Ice Rink Open. So this is great. We're excited. USA Hockey, the adults division, they're happy seeing our support. So we are requesting funding for up to $10,000. It's gonna be based on performance at a $12 rate per room night. So any questions about it?
Completely based on performance.
The what?
Completely based on performance, right? It has to be Pasco County, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. So they're just gonna get for anything that they produce in Pasco hotels.
Move for approval.
I'll second.
All approved?
Aye.
Thank you. Next one is gonna be the Advent Health Center Ice Memorial Day Hockey Tournament. So we were expecting to hear from Florida Sports Foundation as for Sunshine State Games. They haven't said anything. We don't know if they're gonna come. The last 2 years, 2019 and 2020, we partnered with Florida Sports Foundation and with Advent Health Center Ice to host this event, Ice Hockey Championships for Sunshine State Games. Last year, the event got canceled too. So since we didn't hear from them, Advent Health decided to move forward with their own event over the Memorial Day weekend, which is one of the main sports travel weekends. So we're gonna be supporting the event. They're gonna be bringing teams from all over. They're not projecting as much out of the state teams, more than anything local teams. However, they think that they're going to have about 15 to 20 teams coming from out of the state. We run the economic impact report and we're projecting roughly 500 room nights. Therefore, we're recommending funding for up to $5,000 for this event.
Any questions?
Move for approval.
Second.
All approved?
Aye.
Thank you. So next one is exciting news. National Travel Basketball Association. Last month, I mentioned that we started conversation with them in order to fill the void that the Chinese tournament was leaving for Memorial Day weekend. We secured the event, so it's gonna be a 3-way partnership with Rad Sports, the National Travel Basketball Association, and Florida Sports Coast. And what is great about this event is the first time ever they're coming to Florida. The National Travel Basketball Association, they have about 2,000 teams across 18 states in U.S., and this is the first time, like I mentioned before, they're coming to Florida. They're gonna be hosting the event over Memorial Day weekend. They partnered with Rad Sports so they can have a local component because they're not really familiar with Florida. So Rad Sports is gonna take care of the local component. They're gonna attract teams from Florida. And then the National Travel Basketball Association, they're gonna be in charge. Actually, they're already promoting 2 events over the same weekend, one for boys and one for girls, grades 3rd to 12. So we're expecting around 96 teams for this event. 50% of them are gonna come from out of the state. That's what we're planning. So according to the event impact calculator, we're gonna have an average of 1,000 room nights for this tournament. Therefore, we are recommending performance-based funding for up to $10,000.
I just have one question. Do we have the rooms for multiple events?
Yes, so we have been working with Gabi. Actually, this weekend, we're gonna have them, this Friday, we should have the, not the contracts, but the proposals from all the hotels in the area. So we wanna make sure that we have enough rooms for these 2 events. Just with Saddlebrook, we're getting a lot of rooms. We're getting proposals from all the hotels. So we're gonna gather that information this weekend. We're still missing, I think, two hotels. Yes, Fairfield, and yes, we're missing some hotels, but once we're done with that, we can know exactly how many rooms we have. I think we're gonna have enough rooms for those two. And one of the events, the basketball, is gonna take place 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. That's May 29 and 30th. Then the hockey is gonna be a smaller event, but it's gonna be from Friday through Monday. So I think that we can have a good number of rooms. We can report to you guys next month again.
Can you remind me, weren't we under a rule where it could only be 5,000? Is it, now we're at 10,000? Just to remind me, I remember there was for a while there, we could only go up to 5,000. What was that?
No, that was a special marketing grant.
So just a special marketing, okay.
Yes, sir,
Thank
because
you.
that's actually to refund for marketing out of the area. And that actually is just once a year. So we would be probably presenting that program to you guys in, I would say, June or August. That's up to $5,000 for this program. We don't really have a limit. We usually fund based on performance. So for this one, we're basing our recommendation on the event impact calculator. But again, if they don't perform, they're not gonna get funding.
If it's 100 room nights in Pasco County, it's 100 times 12. That's
1,200.
it. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
That's second.
All in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
Next one is sports development update. I included the upcoming events as of last Friday when we sent out the packet. We had really good events this weekend. We had the Sarah Vandenberg Championships tennis event at the Sarah Vandenberg Tennis Center. We got in touch yesterday with Pascal and Jen at the tennis center. They mentioned they got about 100 players coming from all over the country. A lot of them had to actually book rooms because there was raining over the weekend, so they had to extend the tournament until Monday. So that was great for us. We also had the President's Day weekend hockey tournament, actually 4 mini hockey tournaments over the ice rink. They were bringing 17 teams from other parts of the country. We also hosted the Tampa Volleyball United President's Day. Because of some new regulations from USA Volleyball, they had to look for another venue. We were able to extend the event from the sports campus to the Land O'Lakes recreational complex. So that went great. We had 63 teams attending from mainly Florida, but it was good for ages 14 and 16. And then I included the list of upcoming events, more than anything basketball in March. We're also gonna have back Savage Race and Gran Fondo. And the next one, postponing cancel events. Well, the Sarah Vandenberg Championships were supposed to take place originally in January. They were moved to this weekend, which I think was really smart because this was a holiday and one of the most important holidays for sports travel. And then the Caliente 5K Dare to Bear, they were supposed to host the event in early May. They're rescheduling to October. Done? All right. So site visits.
Paying attention.
Last month, we hosted Michael Holly. He's the director of SUTS Report. He works with the NCAA certified recruiting services for kids, and basically he's trying to book an event next year in February. At this point, we're almost booked up for February next year at the sports campus. I don't know if we're gonna be able to secure that event. We're working to see if maybe we can find some potential days to host this event. Also,
You're saying the sports complex is already booked out almost a year in advance? Well, a year.
for February, yes,
Since we're right there talking about that, and we're talking about all these rooms that are gonna be I wanna go back to, being used, I wanna go back to St. Germain's, report. I mean, there's hundreds and thousands of people staying in these hotels, and yet I didn't really see a click on that and his proposal as far as, are those people coming back, or the only reason they come here is sports? I think he needs to be, involving those people or interviewing those people instead of, I don't know where he actually goes and meets these people, but I mean, there should be a lot more stats on what's going on with these people that come here with the hotels and they're here. Are they going to come back? Are they only here? Do they see anything while they're here except the sports arena? So I think there's a whole nother section or piece of the pie that's missing.
Yes.
He's not blind anymore, but I think you need to present that to him.
That is true. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. I had a meeting with Joseph and we're trying to see how we can integrate stats from sports events. But it's also important to mention that October through December, which was the report that he was presenting, wasn't our busiest time. It wasn't. So
he's been coming around here for a couple of years now, right? And I don't think he's addressed that at all.
we have in the past mentioned that in the sports report.
I think they have
what was the percentage? I can't
Well,
remember.
I'm just saying, I think there's more to it than he's presenting. I think he's missing a bat.
I think that we need maybe to partner better with our sports venues in order to track people coming for sporting events, because you're right. I mean, we know for a fact that a lot of these people coming to the area are coming to attend the sporting events.
Yeah, you've got this one event coming up, third grade to 12th graders, whatever it was, they're younger kids. They've got siblings that are coming with them, and they're not just going to sit there and do nothing the whole weekend. They're going to try to find some other things to do. So maybe one parent goes with the kids to do something, and the other one stays with the game. I don't know. It's just there's just a whole piece here missing.
Yes, sir. We can address that.
And I'll just comment on this real fast. So they presented on a quarterly report, which was in reference to what Consuelo was saying. We did see last year in our economic report, I think sports tourism made up 14% annually. But perhaps as a team, we need to talk about maybe a post-event survey that we can work with our event sponsors to send out following that data.
That might just be on Down St. Germain too. It's just explaining exactly where the surveys were coming from. That's what I was thinking earlier in my comment, was just having a breakdown on who we're asking.
And they did provide that in the beginning, but I can make sure that it's more highlighted moving forward.
Yeah. Okay. Because I know when they sent somebody to my location, it was sent on a Tuesday from 2 to 4 p.m. It's like, oh, my boats are out. They come in the morning at 9 to pick them up and leave, and then they come back at 5. So doing these images from 2 to 4
it doesn't help.
Yeah.
Well, it's the nature of the business too. They're going to have some of that, but knowing that they're going there.
Yeah, then I can, because they're supposed to be anonymous and you're not supposed to know they're there. But it's like when I have somebody sitting in my parking lot with, a tablet, I'm like, okay. But if they could, work with the.
Well, you could still be anonymous, but you could say, if you're going to come to my spot, come at 4 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the morning. Don't come.
Yeah, don't come when there's nobody here.
That makes sense.
If we know that, the different vendors and business partners, if they have, because obviously it's better to have them there at the busiest time.
That makes sense. And that's something that we can address with Gabby. I know that Gabby was working early this year with Joseph to make sure that we connected him with our partners. So maybe we can revisit and we can get some insight from you attractions.
You can still be anonymous, but at least you come at the right time.
Yeah.
Well, there's some positive feedback. He comes to my hotel and they'll tell him exactly when to come, 8 to 10, when people are eating breakfast, it's okay to interview them. So, I think he does have drill down data if we need it. Maybe we need to ask for it, but COVID, it's been different, but before that, they were there all the time, but it was always during the time when everybody was around the hotel. So, there is some good there. It's not like they're missing it completely. My hotel, they'd been all over it. Like too much. Like, oh, they're here again? Jeez.
Yeah, but they're staying at your hotel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're like, the coffee's good there, guys. Come on.
Okay. So I'm going to move forward with Florida Sports Foundation grants update. Last month, I provided an update for the next quarter grants that we requested. However, we landed 2 new events for Memorial Day weekend. The deadline for those grants was January 10. So I reached out to Florida Sports Foundation and requested permission to apply. They granted me the permission, thankfully. So we were able to get some applications, to put some applications in for the Advent Health Centerized Memorial Day tournament and also for the National Travel Basketball Association. So I don't know if we're gonna get granted with those funds, but we apply. I should hear from them hopefully in the next couple weeks. Other updates, after my visit to Colombia almost 2 years ago, we started conversation to bring some events from Colombia last year. However, with COVID-19, that wasn't possible. But last week, I connected the Colombian group with Florida Premier because they want to start attending some of the soccer tournaments. For the one upcoming in April, that's not possible because there are a lot of restrictions out there. But we're planning to bring some Colombian teams for the Winter Cup that is going to take place in December. We're also going to start conversations with the sports campus to see if we can bring teams from Colombia for volleyball events, basketball, and gymnastic events. So that was great. We're talking with Top of the Bay Lacrosse. That's a girls lacrosse event. They came here last year in December, hosted a small tournament by the Starkey Ranch District Park, and also came back in January, another small tournament. I invited them over for a site visit. I don't know when they're gonna be able to make it, to see if maybe we can host something at the Lando Lakes Recreational Complex too, because we have more fields there. But they already confirmed that they will be hosting 3 events in the next year. The first one is gonna be in September or October. The second one is gonna be in December, and the third one is gonna be in January. So that's great news, especially for this area of the county, for Newport Richey, Odessa, and Trinity. We had a meeting with a hotelier last week with Holiday Inn Express. So they got excited because they're not getting a lot of businesses from the Wesley Chapel area because we have enough hotels in that area. So they like the idea of us trying to bring more events to the Starkey Ranch District Park. So I think those are the main updates from sports.
You brought up something that where you found yourself successful in Colombia, and it's growing. It's taken a year or so to come about. I just wondered if you might not be putting a package together that you could present to some other countries, maybe in South America. So when we have this opportunity, we don't like go back. Oh, we should have. You know, so we can sell maybe without having you go to Peru or something, but you could send to the people that you contacted in Colombia, there's equal people in Peru.
That is true. And actually the group we're talking with, he worked with people from Peru, from Ecuador, from other countries in South America. Right now they want to focus because it's going to be the first time coming here to our destination.
But I'm just saying, we need to, because of that, let's put a package together, cameras, discussions, meetings, whatever you think that needs to be put together, so we have that marketing tool when we go to these other countries.
Basically like a template.
Yeah,
Insert country here, here's your.
Yeah, here's what we can do for you. So we got our selling point.
That sounds great.
Put it back. Be prepared when they get here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Any additional questions?
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And moving forward, we have a media report with Ms. Colby.
Hello, Colby Gason again, Communications Manager. Apologies, I feel like I can't get a good breath sometimes with this mask on. I'm gonna show you a brief presentation. I'm not gonna call out the numbers like I did last month because it just drones, so I'm gonna give you high level key points for it. Key points, highlights. This is my sports reel for marketing, if you will. All right, so in January, through Madden, again, Madden is handling all of our digital advertising for this year. Further on out for now, you probably won't hear too many mentions of CARES. We have a couple of things wrapping up probably in March, but for the most part, that's run out. So all the money I'm referring to now is what we had originally planned for in our marketing budget. So in January, we started running a 30-minute video on TrueView through Madden. That is our hero video, personally one of my favorites. And we've seen it done really well for us. It's had a view rate of 13%, which is really, really high, which means people are actually watching the video. And we're also seeing that translate into high impressions and almost 3,000 clicks. So overall, with our digital advertising that Madden's doing for us, we're seeing it's delivered 500,000 impressions, as well as 2,000 clicks. From the digital marketing side. So overall, I'd have to go back and look for the totals. We're doing really well with it. For being 3.5 months in, we're generating a lot of impressions. So those people who are thinking about coming here, but then we're also hitting them with the remarketing. So for those short-term travelers like Joseph was talking about, they're still getting our ads once they show interest to get them in that final month of booking. SEM marketing, we're really seeing RV camping delivering our most when it comes to keywords. So that's something to consider. I know Gabby's done a lot of outreach. So what this means to me is that's definitely a segment of travel that people are interested in learning more about. So from a marketing perspective, we're going to kind of look and see how else we can promote RV camping. We're doing a really good job promoting our more traditional campsites that we have here. But then again, if that's what people are actively interested in seeing, we want to make sure that we're delivering that content to them as well.
That growth has been phenomenal because of COVID.
Absolutely. All the people who have bought RVs.
I'm not sure it's going to stay, but it's definitely, brought about a lot.
It's definitely here for a while. Because I think people are just going to realize this is a fun way to do things, and it's an affordable way to do things, especially if you have a family.
Absolutely. And we're definitely, again, you saw in Downton St. Germain study, people are very interested in outdoor nature. I'll talk a little bit more about the blog content we've done, which has been also to combat our bounce rate, increase our page views, but we're seeing that really resonate with people, and that's a lot of the content that we've been drafting to share. Anthony had mentioned our ePro Direct email in January, and also to note, this is all January information, so I'll be reporting a month back in my reviews. We hit DMAs including Georgia, Florida, New York, New Jersey, North Carolina, and Texas. 14,000 emails were delivered. We had 5,400 opens, which is fantastic, and 74 clicks. And I am happy to say that majority of those clicks were actually on the submit RFP or learn more buttons, which means that these are effective emails that people, the content we're sending them, and this one was all about Saddlebrook and golf. So your relevant content, thank you for us. We're seeing that people are actually resonating with the content and that they're wanting to further go through that marketing funnel. So I don't have a slide for this, but this is Kayla's contribution. Kayla has been working really diligently with following up on Miles partnership leads. Those are leads that are generated through our partnership through buying into the Visit Florida Destination Guide. She's been organizing them, tracking them, also following up on leads that come through our website. And I am so excited to tell you that in October, we received 24 total requests with 53 in January, and that's 125% increase, which means people are finding that content, they're going to our destination guide page, they're interested, they're wanting to know more, and her and I are actually building an automated email marketing funnel. So we're gonna take all those leads and we're gonna push them further through a marketing funnel to get them to book. Identity Tampa Bay, that is CARES. What we're doing is we're kind of segmenting up our shoots to create bigger videos. We did a shoot at Florida Avenue Brewing. That'll be a part of the What's New on Florida Sports Coast video. That'll also include the Grove, which we have not shot yet because we're waiting for the crate to open, as well as the Commons on Grand in Newport Richey. So those two will be included. We're hoping to release that in March, depending on the opening of those other two videos. For blog posts to date, in the start of this fiscal, we have published 6 blogs, 3 of which were published last month. One is about how to eat your way through the Kumquat Festival. Planning a safe spring break to Florida Sports Coast, which we've actually seen really well performed, especially linking from social media to this. And then also promoting our Escape to Adventure giveaway. Future blog posts are going to include a camping one that we've partnered with Parks and Rec on, and a what's new in 2021. So overall for the website, we have seen between November and December, 58,000, almost 59,000 visitors. The bounce rate continues to fluctuate. We've actually started to see that go down with some of our native content efforts that we've been doing, pushing people through. We actually moved where the blog post was on the drop-down menu to a place we thought it made more sense. And just trying to further educate ourselves on what we can do internally from a development standpoint to just drive those numbers in the right directions. But we're seeing high visitation come to our website. Once we get our new website, they'll stay longer. Social media update. Our Escape to Adventure campaign went live January 25th. The giveaway includes, it's in partnership with Escape, so it's blending our Get Back to Adventure campaign and Escape's brand. We're giving a 2-night stay to the Homewood Inn and Suites, a half-day fishing charter, a paddle excursion and lesson with Salty Dog kayaks, a beer tour and tasting at Escape, and dinner at Widow Fletcher's. That ends on the 25th of this month. To date, and this is actually old data, 192 followers. We've seen an increase on Instagram, and the post has generated an engagement rate of 15.5%, with 397 entries. I will tell you that was done, I think, a week and a half ago. We are at almost 2,000 followers on Instagram. This has far exceeded our expectation. People are actively engaged in this. Escape has also seen engagement rise as well, which means it's working. And we plan to do more giveaways in the future.
I would assume that we're all ineligible.
Unfortunately, yes, I would say. But you already do have most of the prize package. You all have a Yeti.
Hey, we know Warren pretty well. We can get at least dinner.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then this is just the post showcasing the entries. What they had to do to enter, they had to follow both us and Escape. They had to use the hashtag Escape to Adventure. And everybody has been following the rules. So honestly, we're probably going to have a hard time picking a winner, which is a great problem to have. So we're really excited about future giveaway opportunities. Oops. Piggybacking off of that, we also did a PR component to the Escape to Adventure giveaway, where we sent 21 press kits to identified social media influencers and journalists. So they either were big with the beer scene, brewery scene, were past journalists we had hosted who featured F&B. We're going to have a highlight reel to show you. Everybody has had a tremendous response to opening these boxes. Really positive feedback that they've given us, as well as several stories and further content that we'll then be able to use in our promotion of this joint venture. More PR updates. Our virtual Kumquat Festival is going to happen on March 17th. What we're doing is we're onboarding press. We have 3 journalists at this time. We're going to send them a press kit of kumquat items that they will then enjoy virtually with a presentation from everybody that you would probably interact with at the festival. One journalist from Pace Magazine I pitched, he responded, "I am so intrigued by virtual food festival. I'm in." I was like, done.
What's a virtual kumquat taste like?
Well,
You don't need to answer that.
we're
Less tangy.
a little less tart, a little more sweet. But they actually will have kumquats in their package. They're going to have some variety of other kumquat items. We've never done anything like this before, and I'm really excited for the potential coverage we'll have to come out of it. And also exciting, love exploring. We had a fantastic article that turned from a year ago when we hosted a joint FAM of UK journalists. This was something that Visit Florida had partnered with us on, and unfortunately, hardly any of that content had turned because it was right before COVID. This turning, I think, is a good sign
for travel turning in the right direction. So this is a UK publication with quarter of a million unique monthly views, and it highlighted every single partner that had been included. And last, but certainly not least, from now until April 16th, Megan Phillips behind me is our intern. She's a senior. She comes to us from St. Leo, and she's a sports business major. So we hope throughout her time with us that she is going to explore all aspects of sport tourism, PR, marketing, and hopefully she'll leave us knowing exactly where she wants to go in the future. So we're happy to have her with us.
Well, welcome to the team.
Thank you.
Very good. Lady.
Oh, any questions? I'm sorry. I just walked away. Did like me?
Does anyone have any questions?
Actually, I got a question. Where do we stand with that new website that we talked about a while ago? Is that still
Yes.
moving forward or? Okay.
So we've drafted a very robust RFP. And at this point, it just needs to be pushed through our system.
Well, it's gonna take longer than that. I think that I mentioned last time when we talked about the website that the county processes for request for proposals, which is the case for the website, take a lot of time. So we were expecting between 6 to 9 months. It's probably gonna take up to a year because right now, I think we send those documents to purchasing and they need to send them to legal.
For review.
For review, and that takes a couple months.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll ask
right
again in a year.
Right after legal approves, we're gonna be posting the request for proposal on the state website and also the county purchasing website. So it's gonna be on the street at least for 30 days. Then we have some committees. So we're not even halfway done.
Once we get to a point of updating, though, we'll be sure to provide that. So hopefully right before we push it live, we do have a PR RFP that I think is a little further through the system. So we'll keep you up to date on both of those. Great question, though.
Yeah, thank you.
It's coming.
Any day now.
Any year now.
All right. Any other questions for Ms. Colby? Okay. We have Mr. Anthony in our tourism sales update.
Good morning once again. So this is brief update. Obviously the consumer sentiment is on the rise, which is the positive. As far as actual activity and current short-term bookings, it's still relatively soft at the moment. But like I said, optimism is on the rise. Quick summary, I've got 2 retired military organization groups that I've been in conversations with that were originally planning on coming down in March to perform site visits with an anticipated fall target date for their events. Well, they've decided, they're a little bit elderly, they've decided to postpone the event into 2022 and have rescheduled their site visits for late September of 21. As far as actual awarded bookings, I think I mentioned this in our last meeting, but there are 3 on the books over the next 12 months, so we're super excited about that. One is an inaugural SMRF conference that will be held. So SMRF being social, military, educational, religious, and fraternal organizations. That's going to be held. Yeah, right? Yeah, it took me a while to get the hang of what that acronym stood for. So, but that being said, we are hoping to partner with Roberts Property at Saddlebrook for that particular inaugural event. And that's, and they've already come down for site visits. They're planning on coming down for a second round of site visits in May, following the announcement, the official announcement that awards us as the host destination for the Sports Express Conference for January of 2022. So excited about those. Each should generate roughly 400 room nights. The third that's been awarded is, again, thanks to our leader, Adam Thomas, and his position on the board with the Florida, oh goodness, what the heck's it called? With Destinations Florida, sorry about that. Yeah, with Destinations Florida. So they are going to be coming down in October and hosting their annual meeting and event here on Florida Sports Coast in October. And then insofar as new leads, gaining traction, like I said, the optimism is on the rise. We have one opportunity, which is a large scale opportunity for an organization called the Endurance Exchange. They're in partnership with USA Triathlon. That was the lead passed along by Consuelo, and this is more of a meeting, but they're looking to draw in roughly 650 attendees. They'd like to house everybody under one roof, so that kind of limits our opportunities insofar as where that goes, but that's good for Robert once again. So hopeful that that might come to fruition. RFPs are due back in March, and they're looking at roughly 1,450 total room nights. So fingers crossed that we might get awarded a large scale conference of such. That's all I've got for now.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Just a little sidebar here. Florida Main Street's having their conference next summer, and I think it's going to try to base it out of the Hacienda. And there's going to be a weekend event, and there's, I don't know, 30 or 40 main streets, probably 40 main streets that will be coming throughout Florida. So you can pick up that and see where you can go with that. Amy Marion is the one that's the executive director of Main Street.
Who was that? I'm sorry?
Amy Marion, M-A-R-I-N.
All right. Yeah, any opportunities to get business here, I definitely appreciate. So you guys be thinking of referrals if you have them.
Yeah, we're trying to get the Hacienda done for that conference.
That would be outstanding. We're excited about that. Thank you very much for sharing that.
Any other questions or comments from Mr. Anthony? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, and Miss Gabby.
Good morning, Gabby Lajanes with the Industry Relations and Advocacy Update. So we have new businesses that were added to our portfolio, meaning that we started conversations to build a stronger relationship with them, such as Diamond View Studios. I had a site visit to the studio and it is amazing. They use the same technology Disney used with The Mandalorian. So it's that high tech. And actually, I don't know if for the video that you guys want to do, where like the image of, landing on one of the different venues, you can do that at the studio. So it's amazing. We are also building a good partnership with Pure Florida Water Sports in Wesley Chapel, and EBB and Flow paddleboard rentals of Sims Park. I think they also offer yoga sessions on the water, so it's pretty cool. Also, the DMO had a large number of industry partners on board to register for training and get certified by the Human Trafficking Foundation. Many hotels and restaurants and attractions located in the main corridors of the county have shown their commitment to the community and to take this training and get certified for this new tool that is being used by law enforcement, which is called BlitzTip. And last but not least, Film Florida was seeking the support of SB 704, which is sponsored by Senator Joe Gruters on behalf of the film, television, and digital media industry. It's a targeted rebate program that will make smaller destinations like us to qualify for rebates when there are productions coming and happen to the area. And it's all performance-based as well. I just got the news yesterday that it was passed favorably out of the Senate Commerce and Tourism Committee by a vote of 9-2. So the next step, the bill goes to the Appropriations Committee on Transportation, Tourism, and Economic Development. And I'll keep you posted on that. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty, who is going to pretend to be Adam today? For the, excellent. Adam lost weight.
Well, I guess I'm going to be presenting on Adam's behalf today. We're going to move forward with the destination report, the stat report that reports on occupancy, average daily rate, and RevPAR. We included it in the package. For the month of December, we see a decrease compared to 2019 of 13.7% of occupancy. However, I have to mention that we did way better than the average in Florida. The average for Florida was a decrease of 32%. So compared to the 13.7%, we did good back in December. The average daily rate went down 12.9%. The average in Florida went down 19.71%. And the RevPAR, we went down 24% compared to 2019. The average in Florida was 45.9. So we did good compared to Florida. We still see a decrease due to COVID-19, but I think we were over the average. Destination report about the tourist development tax, very consistent with the decrease also. Our revenue decreased 16.18. That was almost $40,000 less than in 2019. We went from 200,046 to $206,000 in December 2020. All business last month, Adam presented the fiscal year 2020 annual visitor profile and economic impact report to the Board of County Commissioners. We have a legislative update. Session is gonna start on March 2nd, and it's gonna conclude on Friday, April 30th. However, since January 11, they have been hosting every week the committee, pre-session committee weeks. We have an update on budget. The governor is proposing a $96.6 billion budget for 2021-22, and he's still recommending $50 million for Visit Florida marketing purposes. So basically, this is great news for the tourism industry in Florida because he's recommending the same budget that he recommended last year. Even though they have a lot of decreases due to COVID-19, he's still recommending that. It's not last word. They still have a couple weeks to go, and that's going to be defined by the session after March 2nd. Visit Florida, last year, they extended Visit Florida sunset until October 1st, 2023. They're talking about a bill that is going to be filed to remove the sunset completely, which would be great so we can move forward every year and we don't have the concern about keeping or not Visit Florida. So they're also filing another bill that is going to request that Visit Florida can carry forward any unexpended state appropriation into succeeding fiscal years. So if anything is not spent in current fiscal year, they can move it forward. So they have another bill that is a little bit concerning, especially for us in the tourism industry, because basically intends to ban governmental transactions with big tech corporations such as Amazon, Apple, Facebook, and Twitter. So if that bill passes and is approved, we're not going to be able to use taxes or tourism taxes to buy anything from those corporations. And obviously that would affect significantly our marketing purposes because everything we do in marketing is mainly digital. So
just those companies or?
They mention in the bill the companies. So the language reads, an agency or local governmental entity may not purchase or enter into or renew a contract for the purchase or provision of any good or service made, sold, or provided by Facebook, Twitter, Amazon, Apple, or Alphabet, which I think is Google.
I'm pretty sure that there's some sort of legal loophole in there, don't you think?
I have absolutely no idea. I did read the legislation too, and I found it to be interesting.
Yeah, I just don't know how they can ban us from doing Facebook ads.
No, the state's taking preempt us on anything. Local government is constantly, every session, having to fight and get more and more preemptions of local authority. Last year, it was the ability to require a homeowner to get a tree removal permit. Preempted, we can't do that. Year before that, we were preempted from regulating gardens on residential property. It's constant. So we're preempted on changing our vacation rental ordinance right now. You know,
it's political. Let's say it out loud. It's political.
It is. And yeah,
And please keep in mind, this hasn't been approved It's been talked in the committee sessions. So session is gonna start after March 2nd, and we're gonna know better after April 30th when session finish. So good news for us, anyways. They file another bill in order to maintain existing secret exception that helps county tourism. That's public record exceptions, which is gonna help us because we don't wanna disclose information that can eventually help us to bring more businesses to the county. So TDT expansion, as of today, there's nothing filed that proposes any legislation that would expand the use of tourist development taxes. Vacation rentals this year, they're basically maintaining the same bills that they tried to keep last year. They're also keeping the grandfather clause, which mainly is not going to affect us anything because we're grandfather. That applies for any local statute in place before June 1st, 2011. And if I'm not mistaken, our vacation rental.
Much older than that.
Yes, like 99, I think so.
Committee amendment, I believe, that would allow us to make amendments to our ordinance without losing it if the ordinance amendments were lessening the restrictions on vacation rentals. Because right now we have some pretty severe restrictions, which is why almost everybody operating in Pasco County is doing so illegally. So we could, if that language stays in there, continue to have requirements and limit certain aspects of them, but then again, open it up so that we can legitimize those that are operating illegally. So,
We're not enforcing it.
no, we're not, but it would be nice to not have this problem. It'd be nice to clean it up once and for all.
Well, that's all for the legislative update. I also wanted to introduce Alejandro Croza. He comes from the University of Florida. He's gonna be interim with our office in the Sports Development Department until April, once a week. So anything that we as Consuelo, Sports Development, or Alejandro can help, please let us know, okay? And I think he's gonna be looking for a full-time internship in summer, right, Alejandro? So if anyone is interested, let me know. So that's it. Any questions about legislative update, staff report, revenue?
I think for the most part, I mean, I don't know about the hoteliers here, but I think for the most part, Pasco County is doing okay. And I look at the numbers, and again, I'm not a hotelier, so I look at the numbers, and we're not nearly as bad as all of Florida overall. So I think it's a very positive thing.
So I just reviewed my email, and we got last week staff report. We're getting weekly reports, and I'm extremely happy because the last 2 weeks our occupancy has been over 90%. 90%, to the extent that last week I was trying to find some rooms for this volleyball group in the Wesley Chapel area. It was literally impossible. So I think it's been great the last couple of weeks, and the next couple months, I mean, March and April, I think that's gonna be a good problem every week. Okay, thank you.
In my opinion, it's a progressive attitude at the state level, you know, to try to open up the state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think, do we have any updates from our members? What's going on with the council and anything new and exciting? Mr. Mike?
Nope, just congratulations to the Bucks.
Second.
Anything going on in New Jersey?
Just Chasco's been canceled, but Chasco committee's going to try to do some smaller events, and I think they're actually having a car show at the end of May. They're putting the figures together right now, location and dates.
Yeah, just want to plug the EDC is hosting our economic forecast luncheon next Thursday. That's annual event. We were actually able to pull it off last year before COVID impacted it. It is both in person and virtual, limited attendance. So it's always a great event to hear. We actually have the chief portfolio strategist from Raymond James coming in and giving an hour-long presentation on economic outlook for this year and beyond. So, if you have time, great presentation.
What's the date again?
That is the 25th, Thursday the 25th.
Thursday?
Yeah. Yes, Thursday the 25th. You can find all the information on the website.
Right. Thank you. Bobby, anything new and exciting with your property?
No, we're doing good. Last weekend, as Consuelo said, it was very busy for the first time in a long time, so we're excited, and there's more weekends to come. This weekend will be another one.
Excellent. And
Well,
your fine little city.
our barbecue and blues event that was canceled, we're in April 10th. We've got a date now. They're going to do a socially distanced concert, like with a drive-through barbecue. There's some more details to come on that, but April 10th is when they're planning on doing that. They're going to kind of grid off the venue to where you purchase like 10 by 10 squares where you can have 4 to 6 people, I guess, in there, and no aisleways and everything. So there'll be more details on that coming forward.
Very cool. Very cool. Just a reminder that next month's meeting in Dade City will be our official photo. So we need to, well, everybody else is usually dressed up very nice except the chocolate and stuff.
I'm dressed up. I have long pants on. Got my big one.
Also, I'm not sure if you know, but Frontier Airlines in May 2021, this coming May, they are doing a whole new crew base in Tampa that are going to be home of 150 flight attendants and 120 pilots, which means that just a ton more direct flight markets will be opening up and coming to Tampa, which is very exciting. And then the other real exciting thing is, for the first time in decades, Leadership Pasco is adding a tourism day. So I have been appointed chair of that, and Adam is my vice chair. But yeah, in over 20 years, Leadership Pasco has not added a day. So
Are they starting ideas?
yes, well, not until we're doing a test day for March, but they're hoping that 2022 they can do it.
So then they'll start the next class this fall.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, hoping. So we're gonna go through a test run of the tourism day, and Adam and I may be calling on some of you to say, okay.
I'll volunteer.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna keep the test day kind of real small, so it's just gonna be kind of Leadership Pasco board members, but I would love for any of you to be a part of that. It's March 18th, so it'll be the day after our next meeting. So yeah, I would love to invite all of you to be a part of that and get your input on Tourism Day for the Leadership Pasco.
You already have a plan for it? Like,
We do. We're gonna start off on the east side. Adam's gonna talk about all that, then kind of migrate over to the west side. No, right now we're socially distancing so that people will kind of carpool, like 2 or 3 people that are in
Which
their
month are you looking at having it?
March.
No, March of 2022?
Mhm. But we're doing a test run next month, on the 18th, is our test run. So, because we have to make it better than criminal justice day. I know.
I think we shoot for second place.
Okay, I know, but Government Day is always a great day too, so.
Yeah.
All righty, any other questions, comments? Can I get a motion for adjournment?
I'll second.
All in favor?
I just wanted to mention something. We had another item on the agenda, human trafficking.
Oh,
I think we're gonna postpone that one for next month.
Okay, all right. Sounds good, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much, everybody, for putting up with I didn't know.
Great job.